Dear chosen one, have you ever looked around and felt an ache you couldn't explain, a knowing deep in your bones that you were never truly one of them? Have you ever stood in the middle of a crowd and yet felt oceans away, as if some invisible barrier separated you from the rhythm everyone else seemed to dance to? Have you ever wondered why, despite your best efforts to blend, the universe kept pulling you apart, isolating you in moments where you needed belonging the most? There is a reason you feel like an anomaly in a world obsessed with fitting in. It is not a curse, it is not a mistake, it is a sacred marking. You, dear soul, were never designed to follow the standard script. You were not placed here to live a life of quiet resignation, ticking boxes and calling it destiny. No, you were born under a different covenant, etched into existence by a hand that does not make accident. You were spoken into being for disruption, for correction. You are not simply alive, you are summoned. In the same way that Moses was hidden away for a season, only to return with fire from the mountain, you too have been sheltered, misunderstood, concealed. Not because you are small, but because the weight you carry would crush you if it were unveiled before its time. In a world trained to fear what it does not understand, your difference has been treated like a defect. But hear me now, what the world calls your flaw is actually your fingerprint from heaven. The ache you feel, the loneliness that gnawed at your spirit, the betrayals that hollowed out your chest, none of it was punishment. It was prophecy unfolding in silence. You were being prepared, fortified, refined. You were not meant to blend, you were made to blaze. And when you finally rise into full view, they won't just wonder where you came from. They will wonder how they ever existed before you. So if you've been questioning your path, doubting your journey, believing the lie that you somehow missed your chance, listen carefully. You are not lost, you are not forgotten, you are not broken, you are being called. You are not off track, you are right on time. You are not wandering, you are being summoned. You are not lost, you are being summoned. 777. Diamonds are hidden in darkness for a reason. They never told you that feeling alone was part of the process, did they? They never explained that before a diamond ever dazzles in the sun, it must spend countless centuries buried deep within stone, unseen, untouched, and uncelebrated. Dear chosen one, you have walked through the valley of isolation not because you are insignificant, but because your light is too potent to be revealed prematurely. The world has standards for exposure, but heaven has standards for preservation. You were never meant to be center stage until your spirit could withstand the heat of the spotlight. You see, when a diamond is first discovered, it looks like nothing, rough, jagged, dull to the untrained eye. Only the one who understands what lies beneath the grime sees its worth. So too, you have been hidden, mistaken, underestimated. The nights you cried, wondering why no one saw you, no one called you, no one chose you. Those nights were not evidence of your unworthiness. They were signs of your sacredness. Even Jesus, the embodiment of divine purpose, endured the weight of misunderstanding. When he first declared his mission in his hometown of Nazareth, they mocked him. "Isn't this Joseph's son?" they sneered, unable to reconcile the boy they thought they knew with the king standing before them. They tried to reduce him to familiarity because they could not comprehend his calling. And when the weight of his truth became too heavy for their small expectations, they tried to throw him off a cliff. You, dear soul, have tasted that same rejection, not because you are small, but because your destiny is too large to fit within their limited imagination. The more heaven expands you, the more earth tries to shrink you. It is not personal, it is prophetic. It is the world's way of handling what it cannot categorize. You are not forgotten, you are being forged. So think about Moses, hidden in a basket, floated down the Nile. Before he ever faced Pharaoh, before he ever split a sea, he spent decades wandering in the wilderness, alone, unknown. seemingly disqualified. But God was not punishing Moses, he was preparing him. He was stripping away the palace polish to awaken the fire of true purpose. The wilderness was not Moses' exile, it was his classroom. The same is true for you. Every delay, every closed door, every betrayal you endured was not a sign that you had missed your calling. It was confirmation that your calling was being protected. Because diamonds formed in darkness can only be revealed when they are strong enough to hold their brilliance without breaking. Heaven hides what hell would destroy. There were moments you doubted this, didn't you? Moments you looked at the celebrations of others, their parties, their promotions, their endless connections, and wondered why you were always the one left outside the gates. You asked yourself, what is wrong with me? But the real question was, what is so right about me that the process refuses to let me settle? Chosen one, the longer the hiding, the heavier the glory. God does not rush what he intends to last. If your journey feels longer, harder, lonelier than others, it is because your foundation is being laid deeper, stronger, purer. Surface-level influence fades quickly. Deep-rooted authority, once it emerges, changes generations. You are not building a moment, you are birthing a movement, and that movement cannot afford cracks hidden beneath polished smiles. That movement cannot be fueled by applause or applause withdrawal. That movement must stand when everything familiar falls, which is why you have been placed into seasons of obscurity, seasons where no one was clapping, no one was calling, no one was watching, except heaven, except the one who knit you together before the world even knew your name. There is a kind of power that only grows in silence, a kind of authority that only anchors in loneliness, a kind of brilliance that only shines because it has spent enough time uncelebrated to know that its light was never dependent on validation. You are carrying that kind of power now, whether you realize it yet or not. Every tear you shed in secret, every silent victory you won when no one was watching, every time you stood back up after a betrayal that could have broken you, those moments have not been wasted. They have been invested. They have been sharpening you into a force that will not just impress, but transform. And when you finally step into full view, you won't just light up a room, you will recalibrate the entire atmosphere. But here's the mystery. To be chosen is to be carved. To be carved is to bleed, and to bleed is to grow into the shape of the destiny that was always waiting for you. Pain was never the enemy, it was the chisel. Loneliness was never the punishment. It was the proof that you were being shaped for something bigger than the spaces you tried to fit into. So, when you find yourself staring at an empty phone, sitting at tables where no one truly sees you, walking paths so narrow you wonder if you missed the turn, remember this. Diamonds are not mined because they are common, they are sought because they are rare. You were hidden because you are rare. You were misunderstood because you are rare. You were preserved because you are rare. Enough. And the world does not need another polished imitation. It is gasping for an original voice, your truth, your light. The question is not whether you are ready. The question is whether you will finally trust the reason you were hidden in the first place. Will you finally believe that the darkness was never your death? It was your vault. Your incubation, your proving ground. The time of hiding is coming to an end, chosen one. The unveiling is at hand. The stone is breaking. The light is leaking out. And when the world finally beholds what heaven has been guarding, they will not understand, but they will not be able to deny. You are the diamond they tried to overlook. You are the prophecy they never saw coming. You are the storm that was quietly gathering force while the world slept. And now, chosen one, now, you rise. If you recognize these signs, your time has come. You feel like an outsider. even among friends. There's a peculiar loneliness that clings to you, even when you're surrounded by familiar faces. It's as if you're physically present, but spiritually elsewhere, caught between dimensions, silently screaming for a resonance that never seems to come. Others laugh, others celebrate, others bond, but somehow you still feel like a foreigner in your own life. Moses knew this loneliness well. Raised among Egyptian royalty, he was never fully Pharaoh's son. Yet when he tried to defend his own Hebrew blood, he was rejected by them too. Between two worlds, he belonged fully to neither. And yet, that tension wasn't a curse, it was a compass, pointing him toward a destiny larger than any single tribe could contain. Have you ever wondered if your discomfort in belonging is the universe's way of reminding you that you were never meant to fit, because you were meant to build what others would later belong to? Sign. Your pain hits deeper than most. While others shake off betrayal or failure with casual ease, you feel wounds that cut straight to the bone. You process emotions on a level that terrifies even yourself sometimes. It is not weakness, it is calibration. The depth of your pain mirrors the depth of your future authority. David, anointed as king while still a shepherd, endured years of unjust exile, betrayal by Saul, and heartbreak from those he trusted most. His psalms are raw evidence of a soul scraped bare by suffering. And yet, that very depth forged the king who would later lead with unmatched empathy and wisdom. Could it be that your ability to bleed so deeply is not a flaw, but a forge, molding you into the kind of leader this fractured world desperately needs? 3. You see patterns others miss. Where others see chaos, you instinctively search for meaning. You sense undercurrents no one else is talking about. A tension in the room, a shift in a conversation, an unseen war beneath polite smiles. You pick up what others gloss over. Joseph, the dreamer in the book of Genesis, saw patterns in dreams that his own brothers dismissed. Those dreams got him thrown into a pit, sold into slavery, and locked in prison. But ultimately they positioned him to interpret Pharaoh's visions and save nations from famine. The ability to perceive what is invisible to others isn't paranoia, it's preparation. When you notice tiny inconsistencies, odd vibrations, or future outcomes hidden in today's shadows, are you really imagining things? Or are you hearing a drumbeat the others are too distracted to notice? Sign. 4. You crave depth, while others crave distraction. You are not easily entertained. Small talk suffocates you. Superficiality drains you. You are drawn to conversations that pierce the surface, talks about purpose, truth, legacy, healing, and often you find yourself pulling away from crowds that celebrate comfort over courage. Jesus didn't waste his time arguing over trivialities. He spoke of kingdoms unseen, of transformations so radical they split history in two. His hunger for depth frightened those clinging to shallow waters, and it still does. Your dissatisfaction with mediocrity is not negativity, it is divine discontent. It is the Spirit stirring in you, demanding a life measured by meaning, not metrics. Have you considered that your constant craving for more truth, more authenticity, more depth, is not a burden, but a birthright? Second class, you survive storms that should have destroyed you. Look back, honestly. Think about the betrayals you endured, the heartbreaks that tried to hollow you out, the losses that would have crushed someone less fortified, and yet here you stand. Maybe you're battered, maybe you're bruised, but undeniably you're still breathing. That stubborn survival is not ordinary, it's supernatural. Look at Esther, an orphan girl dragged into a foreign palace, forced into a political chess match she never asked for. And yet she rose, outmaneuvered an empire and saved her people. Survival is not the absence of suffering, it's the evidence of a sacred assignment. Every time life tried to bury you, It underestimated the seeds buried within you. Do you realize that the fact you are still here, still believing, still building, is itself a miracle, a thunderous affirmation from heaven that your story is far from over? So, dear chosen one, if you recognize yourself in these signs, if your heart pounded a little harder with each unfolding truth, know this: you were never imagining the battle. You were never overreacting to the ache. You were never foolish for sensing what others dismissed. You have been carrying a frequency calibrated for seismic impact, quietly waiting for its appointed hour. And now, the ground beneath your feet is starting to tremble. The world has been spinning at a pace too frantic to notice the gathering storm. But storms do not require permission to rewrite landscapes. Neither do chosen ones. Your loneliness was not wasted. Your pain was not in vain. Your vision was not hallucination. Your survival was not luck. It was all preparation for the moment heaven decided that business as usual could no longer continue and called you to rise. Now, the only question that remains is this: will you answer the call, or will you retreat into the safety that was never meant to contain you? Will you dare to believe that the battles you fought in secret were not meaningless, but intentional scaffolding for a destiny the world is desperate to witness? Because here's the final truth, the one that echoes through eternity: diamonds do not ask the stone for permission to shine, they simply break free. And, chosen one, the time for your unveiling has come. The world is not ready, but heaven is, and heaven always wins. You are the glitch they couldn't erase. It was never about you fitting in. It was never about you earning their approval. From the very beginning, you were designed to disrupt, not to conform. The world as it stands today is a finely tuned system, a machinery of expectations, illusions, compromises, carefully calibrated to maintain a delicate balance of power, comfort, and control. Every rule, every unspoken law, every norm whispered in boardrooms, classrooms, and pulpits has been set to keep things running smoothly, predictably, profitably. And you, chosen one, you are the glitch in their system. You are the unpredictable code they cannot debug. You are the frequency that refuses to harmonize with their hollow song. You are the reminder that true change never comes from those who sit politely at the table, nodding along to outdated scripts. It comes from those who flip the table over. Systems, whether social, political, or spiritual, are not built to welcome disruption. They are built to resist it. And when your spirit, raw, real, radiant, enters their polished halls, you are perceived not as an evolution, but as an error. The resistance you feel is not accidental. It is structural. It is baked into the walls of old empires. Every cold shoulder, every closed door, every sideways glance you endured was not a judgment of your worth. It was a silent admission of their fear. Fear that your authenticity would expose their performance. Fear that your vision would unveil their limitations. Fear that your mere existence would remind everyone how much has yet to be rebuilt. Throughout history, the ones who carried the seed of transformation were treated like threats long before they were celebrated as pioneers. Noah was ridiculed while he built the ark. Joan of Arc was condemned before she was canonized. Martin Luther King Jr. was jailed before he was revered. Changemakers are always mistaken for troublemakers, until the dust settles and history realizes who they really were. You, dear chosen one, are being misunderstood now because you are operating on a blueprint not yet visible to the masses. You see problems others have normalized. You dream in colors others have forgotten how to perceive. You move to a rhythm that shakes foundations they are desperately trying to hold together. And so they brand you as difficult, rebellious, arrogant. Not because you are wrong, but because you are no longer manageable. But hear me, being unmanageable is not a sin. It is a sign. It means you have outgrown the cages built to house smaller spirits. It means the walls they offer cannot contain the magnitude of what is stirring inside you. You were not designed for compliance. You were called for collision. To collide with apathy, to collide with injustice, to collide with mediocrity until the structures built on sand come crashing down. When you are a glitch in their system, their first instinct will always be elimination. If they cannot fix you, they will try to isolate you. If they cannot isolate you, they will try to discredit you. And when none of those tactics work, when you continue rising, continue speaking, continue building, they will have no choice but to adapt to you or be replaced. That is the silent war you are feeling around you right now. But do not let their resistance distort your reflection. Do not let their panic trick you into believing that your difference is a defect. You are not the villain in this story. You are the catalyst. You are the code that refuses to obey outdated commands. You are the sacred interruption heaven sent to interrupt a dying cycle. It would be easier, wouldn't it, to shrink back, to sand off your edges, to lower your frequency, to play along and pretend you never heard the call. Easier, yes, but devastating, because every time a chosen one retreats to the comfort of conformity, an entire generation loses its next revolution. Your rising is not just about you, it is about everyone who will find freedom because you dared to disrupt. You were never meant to validate the old systems. You were born to outgrow them. You were not placed here to preserve the status quo. You were placed here to unveil the future. The friction you feel is not proof that you are failing. It is proof that you are succeeding. Friction is what happens when a new world scrapes against the old one. Sparks fly, resistance rises, the ground shakes, and then the shift becomes inevitable. So the next time you feel the pressure mounting, the next time you sense the silent sabotage or the manufactured misunderstandings or the whispers that say, "Who do you think you are?" smile, not with arrogance but with deep knowing. Because if you were truly insignificant, they wouldn't bother trying to contain you. It is only when a soul begins to move mountains that the systems built on sand start sending storms. You are not here to be accepted by a dying order. You are here to birth a living future. You are not an error in the system. You are evidence that the system itself is obsolete. You are not broken. You are breaking cycles. You are not a mistake, you are a movement. And even if the old world never applauds you, even if it never fully understands you, it cannot survive you. Because light does not ask permission to shatter darkness, fire does not negotiate with cold, and destiny does not defer to fear. Remember this, chosen one, you are not the villain in their crumbling play. You are the author of the new script. You are not the enemy. You are the antidote. You are not the problem. You are the prototype of what comes next. You are not the destroyer of worlds. You are the builder of what the world was always meant to become. You are not a threat to life. You are life. You are not the villain. You are the game changer. Your presence is a mirror, and not everyone can bear their own reflection. Have you ever walked into a room and felt the atmosphere shift before you even spoke a word? Have you noticed how certain people grow uncomfortable around you even when you are nothing but kind, even when your presence is quiet, measured, and unassuming? Dear chosen one, you must understand this. It is not because you are doing something wrong. It is because you are doing something rare. You are vibrating at a frequency that disrupts the masks others wear to survive. You are a mirror, whether you choose to be or not. And mirrors, real mirrors, do not lie. They do not flatter. They do not distort to preserve comfort. They simply reflect. When you stand in your truth, when you carry your authentic energy into a space where pretense reigns supreme, you reveal what people have worked so hard to hide. Not from the world, but from themselves. Imagine a cracked wall, hastily covered by layers of paint and posters. For years, no one notices. Everyone agrees to pretend the wall is smooth, but then you arrive. Not with judgment, not with accusation, but simply with clarity. Your light is so clean, your spirit so sharp that the cracks become visible. The posters peel, the truth seeps through, and those who spent years pretending everything was perfect feel exposed, naked, threatened. Not because you attacked them, but because your existence made hiding impossible. This is the energetic dissonance you cause without trying. Insecure people sense on a cellular level that you cannot be manipulated easily, that you are not seduced by hollow validation, that your loyalty is not for sale, your attention not easily hijacked, and it terrifies them, not because you are dangerous, but because you remind them of the gap between who they are and who they pretend to be. Think about it in simple, everyday terms. You have seen how some people react aggressively when a toddler points out the truth without filter. "Why is that man so angry?" a child might ask innocently, and everyone else shushes them, embarrassed. Not because the child lied, but because they spoke aloud what everyone else had silently agreed to ignore. You, chosen one, are that child, but tempered by wisdom, by fire, by divine assignment. You are the inconvenient truth that stands when others have built their lives on comfortable illusions. When you ask uncomfortable questions, even with the purest of intentions, you threaten the fragile scaffolding that holds their false realities together. You don't even have to say anything. Your mere presence carries an unspoken question. Is this real? Is this right? Is this true? And for those clinging to their facades, that silent question is unbearable. Look at how some animals behave when confronted with something they do not understand. A horse, sensing a rider's uncertainty, becomes skittish. A dog, feeling a visitor's unease, growls or retreats. Energy speaks before language does. And in the same way, the unstable spirits around you recognize that you are not easily controlled, not easily fooled. You move differently. You see differently. You hear frequencies they have long tuned out. This is why some people will criticize you without cause, question your motives without evidence, distance themselves without clear reason. They may label you too intense, too much, too sensitive, but what they are really saying is, "Your authenticity makes my pretense unbearable. Your light causes their shadows to twitch. Your integrity makes their compromises itch. Your passion exposes their apathy. Your wholeness reveals their fractures." And it is important to understand this without bitterness, without anger, because their reaction is not your burden to carry. Their discomfort is not your flaw to fix. You were not sent to this world to blend into its brokenness. You were sent to blaze through it with a kind of presence that demands either transformation or distance. You do not force anyone to change, but your existence removes the option of staying asleep. Think of it like this. In a dark room, everyone becomes accustomed to the shadows. Eyes adjust, reality shrinks, fear feels normal. Then suddenly, a window is thrown open, sunlight pours in, and the darkness can no longer pretend to be safe. The ones who have lived too long in the dimness will shield their eyes, curse the light, resent the awakening, but deep down, their souls recognize the invitation to step into something freer, something fuller, something real. You are that open window. You are that flood of sunlight, and though it may not feel like it at times, even the ones who recoil from you are being stirred towards something better. You are not disrupting for the sake of chaos. You are disrupting because stagnation is no longer an option. You are not here to judge, you are here to reveal. You are not a source of fear, you are a summons to courage. So when you feel the vibration of unease ripple through a room, when you sense the glances, the whispers, the cold shoulders, remember, it is not a sign that you are out of place. It is confirmation that your place is to shift the very ground others are clinging to. It is proof that your presence matters, that your spirit is working even when your words are silent. It will not always be easy. Some will leave, some will attack, some will try to shrink you back into a mold that suffocates your spirit. But do not retreat. Do not shrink. Do not apologize for the reflection you offer. Stand firm, stay radiant. Because every great awakening begins with discomfort. Every true revolution starts with one person daring to shine while everyone else demands darkness. You are not the villain in their story of safety. You are the mirror that refuses to lie. You are the pulse that refuses to be muted. You are the revolution they never saw coming, and you were never meant to apologize for it. Before a seed breaks through, it must first split open. There is a sacred tension building inside of you right now, chosen one. A pressure that feels both exhilarating and unbearable. It is as if your very skin is becoming too tight for the spirit expanding within it. Your thoughts no longer fit neatly into old patterns. Your conversations no longer satisfy the deeper hunger rising in your chest. Your surroundings, once familiar, now feel foreign, like clothes you have long since outgrown, but kept wearing out of habit. This is not confusion. This is not chaos. This is the sign that your soul is preparing for eruption. You are on the verge of becoming something your past cannot contain. The discomfort you feel is not a warning. It is a prophecy unfolding in real time. Like a seed buried in soil, you must first crack, must first shatter the shell that once protected you before you can push through the earth and meet the light. The seed does not resent the cracking. It knows that breaking is its birthright. So too must you embrace the breaking as a holy confirmation that you are outgrowing what was never meant to be your final form. The friction you feel with your environment, the growing silence between you and certain people, the sudden irritations with spaces that once felt safe, all of it points to one sacred truth. You are not done. You are germinating. When a seed begins to sprout, the soil around it resists. Dirt presses in from all sides. The darkness feels thicker. The weight feels heavier. But within the seed, energy is gathering, pressure is mounting, life is demanding to be born. It is no different for you. Every restless night, every tear shed without knowing why, every surge of anger or longing you can barely name, these are not signs of collapse. They are contractions, they are labor pains. They are signals that you are about to step into the dimension of yourself that you were always destined to inhabit. There are signs, if you pay attention. Your energy, once scattered, now demands direction. You find yourself craving solitude, not because you are broken, but because the noise of the ordinary has become unbearable to a spirit preparing for the extraordinary. You notice patterns quicker. You discern intentions faster. What once deceived you now feels transparent. Your discernment sharpens, slicing through appearances like a blade through mist. Even your body feels it. A pulsing electricity in your chest, a heat in your palms, a vibration in your bones. It is as if your very cells know that a new frequency is about to be released, and they are preparing the vessel for the flood. This is the sacred burn before the blessing, the unraveling before the revealing. And yes, it can feel terrifying. Yes, it can feel isolating. No one tells the seed that its first glimpse of sunlight will come after feeling like the whole world was collapsing around it. No one tells the butterfly that becoming will feel like annihilation before it feels like flight. But what they do not tell you, you must now remember, everything inside you is conspiring for your emergence, not your end. You are not going backwards. You are not losing momentum. You are gathering force. Like a wave pulling back from the shore, gathering mass and speed, your perceived retreat is merely the setup for an unstoppable surge forward. The distance you feel from others is heaven's way of preserving your purity. The impatience you feel with old games and empty conversations is the universe making room for the monumental conversations you were born to have. You are not abandoned. You are being aligned. You are not lost. You are being launched. Think of how volcanoes behave before they erupt. For months, sometimes years, the pressure builds silently beneath the surface. The earth grumbles, fissures form, the ground trembles. The untrained mind fears disaster. The awakened soul understands this is creation in motion. New land, new life, new landscapes are being formed in the fire no one else can yet see. You are that volcano, chosen one. You are that shaking ground. You are that silent gathering of unstoppable force. And soon, very soon, the world will no longer be able to ignore the mountain you have become. They may have dismissed you when you were quiet. They may have ignored you when you were hidden. But the eruption cannot be overlooked. You will not need to announce yourself. Your emergence will do that for you. You will not need to explain yourself. Your impact will make explanation irrelevant. You will not need to apologize for your growth. Growth needs no permission. So when you feel the tightness in your chest, the restless dreams, the moments when your old life feels like a prison shrinking by the hour, rejoice. You are not failing. You are hatching. You are not breaking down. You are breaking through. The environments that no longer fit you are not punishment. They are the outdated shells cracking open to reveal the new world your spirit has already built. You do not owe them an apology. You do not owe them an explanation. You owe yourself the courage to rise, because the soil that once nurtured you cannot contain your branches, because the conversations that once excited you cannot satisfy your evolved hunger, because the paths you once followed cannot keep up with your expanded stride, and because destiny does not wait for permission to bloom. It demands emergence. Chosen one, your cracking is sacred. Your pressure is prophetic. Your urge to erupt is holy. Do not run from it. Run with it. Let the old break. Let the false fall. Let the seed surrender to the force it can no longer contain. Because soon, very soon, you will not just rise, you will blaze. And the world that thought it understood you will realize they had only seen the seed. They had no idea what kind of forest was about to be born. When you hide your light, the world grows colder. Dear chosen one, what happens if you do not rise? What happens if you let fear, doubt, and fatigue convince you that you are too small, too broken, too late? What if you decide it is easier to stay hidden, to mute your voice, to dim your light until it flickers into nothingness? I will tell you, the world does not simply remain the same without you. It gets darker, colder, emptier. When you withhold your flame, you are not merely saving yourself from you are depriving the earth of the fire it desperately needs to thaw frozen souls and ignite sleeping spirits. This is not about ego. This is about essence. This is not about your comfort. This is about your calling. Heaven did not seed you with gifts only for you to bury them in the backyard of convenience. Heaven did not forge your resilience, your insight, your strange and sacred way of seeing, only for you to hoard it behind a wall of false humility. You are not just carrying light, you are carrying lifelines. And when you hide them, people drown. There are individuals you were divinely assigned to impact, people whose destinies hinge on your courage to step fully into your own. Their freedom is tethered to your voice. Their awakening is linked to your breakthrough. Their healing is connected to your willingness to become who you were always meant to be. And when you hesitate, when you delay, when you shrink back into the false security of invisibility, the ripple effects of your absence widen. This world does not need more noise. It needs more authenticity. It does not need more polished avatars. It needs more real ones willing to stand, even trembling, and say, "Here I am." You do not have to be fearless. You do not have to be flawless, but you do have to be faithful. Faithful to the fire that refuses to go out no matter how fiercely life has tried to extinguish it. Faithful to the light flickering within you that says, there is more, there is more, there is more. Because here is the truth: no one tells you when you are exhausted, when you are disillusioned, when you are tempted to settle. When you withhold your light, darkness multiplies. When you stay silent, lies grow louder. When you step back, the forces of mediocrity step forward. The gaps you were designed to fill do not vanish. They become voids that suck hope from the weary and reinforce despair in the broken-hearted. Think of it like a lighthouse. A lighthouse does not exist for its own glory. It does not shine to be admired. It stands because somewhere out there, in the raging, blinding storm, there are ships searching, praying, desperate for any sign that they are not alone, that land is near, that survival is still possible. When the lighthouse dims its beam out of fear of being struck by the storm, it is not just an act of self-protection, it is an act of abandonment. You, chosen one, are a lighthouse. And yes, you will be battered by winds of criticism. Yes, you will be drenched by rains of misunderstanding. Yes, you will sometimes stand alone, shivering against waves of loneliness. But you must shine anyway. Because someone you cannot see yet is steering their broken vessel by your light. Someone you do not know yet is finding the strength to keep going because your existence whispered, "It is not over." This is not pressure. This is privilege. This is not guilt. This is glorious responsibility. Heaven trusted you enough to make you a torchbearer in an age when many have forgotten how to seek the flame. Heaven believed in you enough to implant a frequency so fierce, so brilliant, that even hell shudders when it hears your name. So do not buy into the lie that shrinking protects you, it starves you. Do not buy into the illusion that hiding keeps you safe, it keeps you stagnant. Safety is not the absence of storms, it is the presence of destiny bigger than the storm itself. And destiny is calling you now, louder than your fears, stronger than your doubts, clearer than your excuses. You are not being asked to be perfect. You are being summoned to be present, to show up as you are in your unfinished becoming, carrying whatever fragments of courage you can gather, and trusting that heaven can amplify even the smallest spark into a wildfire of transformation. If you knew how many people's lives would shift just by you standing in your authenticity, you would never question your worth again. If you could glimpse, even for a moment, how your obedience to your calling rewires timelines, unlocks futures, liberates legacies, you would run, not walk, toward your rising. You were not placed on this earth to hide behind false ceilings or shrink into safe boxes. You were placed here to crack open ceilings, tear down walls, light up rooms until others remember they were never meant to live in the dark. You were placed here to be proof that resurrection is real, that purpose can survive pain, that destiny can outlive disaster. When you refuse to rise, the world loses a piece of its healing. When you silence yourself, the world misses an essential frequency of freedom. When you stay small, you cheat not only yourself, but everyone who needed your magnitude to remember their own. So, stand up, chosen one. Rise even if your knees shake. Speak even if your voice trembles. Shine even if your light flickers against the howling winds. Because the night is darkest right before the dawn, and you, beloved, you were made to be the dawn. When you hide your light, the world sinks deeper into darkness. When you unleash it, the world remembers how to rise. And it is time. It is time. It is time. May not be back for at least another 10,000 years. Didn't fit in, they built a new world. History does not belong to the cautious. It does not reward those who wait for permission to rise. It crowns those who step forward when the world whispers you are not ready. and answer back, "Watch me." Chosen one, the blueprint is already written across the lives of those who came before you. They were not favored by circumstances. They were not handed invitations to the banquet of greatness. They built their own tables, carved their own seats, and lit their own torches. And you, yes, you, are next. Think of Nelson Mandela, a man who spent 27 years locked away, treated like a criminal for daring to imagine freedom for his people. They tried to bury him under iron bars and concrete walls. They tried to convince the world he was a threat to peace, a danger to order. But Mandela did not wait for the world's permission to dream. He did not seek the approval of the systems that had oppressed him. From a prison cell, he became an architect of destiny. He emerged not broken, but blazing. He spoke truth so powerful it cracked the very foundations of apartheid. And when the dust settled, it was not the jailers who shaped the new South Africa. It was the prisoner who refused to shrink. Mandela didn't fit into the old world. He rebuilt it. Think of Tyler Perry, homeless, sleeping in his car, rejected by theaters, laughed at by gatekeepers, ignored by critics who thought his voice too raw, too different. He could have shrunk into the shadows, allowed the lack of validation to snuff out his dream. But Tyler Perry understood a secret. You do not need the old system's validation when you are here to build your own. So he wrote his own plays. He rented his own venues. He produced his own films. Today he owns a production studio larger than Disney's in Atlanta. Not because he asked for a seat at their table, but because he built a kingdom where no permission was needed. He didn't ask the world to see him. He made the world impossible to ignore him. Think of Serena Williams. From the cracked tennis courts of Compton to the polished arenas of Wimbledon, she was never supposed to dominate a sport that had for decades excluded and underestimated women who looked like her. She was too strong, too loud, too unapologetic. But Serena did not adjust her game to fit their comfort. She redefined the entire game itself. Her power, her endurance, her fire reset the standards for what greatness looks like. She was not just winning titles, she was shifting culture. And in every match she played, in every trophy she lifted, she sent a message far louder than any victory speech. I do not need to fit your mold. I will break it and rebuild it in my own image. Think of Michelle Yeoh. For decades she dazzled in action films across Asia, often overlooked by Hollywood's narrow lens. She faced the silent, insidious rejection of an industry that told her again and again there were limits to how far she could go. But Michelle did not internalize their limits. She honored her craft, sharpened her skills, deepened her roots. And when the world finally cracked open with everything everywhere all at once, she didn't just act, she exploded into legend, winning an Oscar, making history. Not as a manufactured figure, but as her full, unapologetic self. Michelle Yeoh didn't wait for a gatekeeper's approval. She became the door itself. These lives are not fairy tales. They are roadmaps. They are proof that the chosen do not beg for a place in broken systems. They become architects of the future. They do not lower their frequency to be palatable. They elevate the frequency of everything around them. They do not wait for conditions to be favorable. They make conditions bow to their fire. Chosen one, you must understand. The struggle you feel is not proof you are failing. It is proof you are forging. You are not called to patch up the old world. You are called to build the next one. You are not here to fit into a mold that was never shaped with your spirit in mind. You are here to shatter that mold and remind the world what divinely crafted humanity looks like. You will not feel ready. None of them did. You will not have unanimous applause. None of them did. You will not walk an easy road. None of them did. But what you will have, if you dare to rise, is legacy, is impact, is the echo of your courage ringing through generations who will thank you without even knowing your name. You were not born for comfort. You were born for consequence. You were not planted in this era to decorate it. You were sent to disrupt it. The world is hungry for authenticity. It is starving for courage. It is gasping for those who will stand unbending when the winds of fear howl the loudest. And that is why you are here. Not by accident, not by coincidence, but by divine placement. Your existence is not random. It is an assignment, and the clock is ticking. The same fire that fueled Mandela's endurance, that lifted Tyler Perry from the streets to a studio empire, that carried Serena past every sneer and snub, that crowned Michelle Yeoh after decades of silent labor, that same fire is burning in you right now. It is not waiting for permission. It is not asking if the world is ready. It is waiting for your surrender to your own becoming. You are next. You are the unshakable force they didn't predict. You are the chapter history didn't know it needed. You are the earthquake trembling just beneath the surface. And when you rise, and you will rise, the structures built to exclude you will crumble under the weight of your emergence. You will not walk into the future timidly. You will erupt into it, undeniable, uncontainable, unstoppable. You are not asking for your time. You are taking your throne. You are not waiting for the baton. You are the race itself. You are not stepping onto the stage to perform for them. You are stepping onto the stage to change them. And when you do, the world will remember once again that the greatest revolutions are not started by those who fit in. They are started by those who dared to rebuild the world from the ashes of the old one. You are next, and heaven is already roaring in anticipation. 3 bold moves your destiny is waiting for. Dear chosen one, this is no longer the season for passive dreaming or tentative steps. This is the hour when destiny demands action. You cannot wait for the perfect conditions. You cannot sit back and hope your calling gently unfolds. You must move now. Energy only compounds when it is placed into motion. The world shifts when individuals dare to shift themselves first. Your soul is already stirring, ready, restless. Now it needs a roadmap. Here are 3 actions you must take immediately to seal your emergence and ignite the chain reaction you were born to trigger. Declare your soul manifesto. Before the world can echo your truth, you must first declare it to yourself. Not in whispers, not in passing thoughts, in bold, unshakable words written in a language your spirit recognizes as sacred. Write your soul manifesto. This is not a vision board. This is not a list of wishes. This is a contract between your higher self and your current self. It is your declaration of war against mediocrity, against playing small, against postponing your... What truths have you known since childhood but buried under fear? What fire do you carry that refuses to die? Write it down. Write it loudly. I was born for more. I will not apologize for the light I carry. I am not waiting to be chosen. I was chosen before the foundations of this earth. I declare today that my gifts are sacred, my voice is necessary, and my time is now. Seal it with your own signature. Read it every morning, before you pick up your phone, before the noise of the world tries to drown it out. This is not a motivational gimmick. This is spiritual weaponry. It realigns your mind, heart, and body to march in unison toward the battlefield of your calling. If you do not declare who you are, the world will try to assign you a lesser label. Never let them. Siva, one toxic tie without apology. Growth requires subtraction as much as addition. You cannot ascend while dragging the anchors of toxic relationships behind you. Look around your life with ruthless compassion. Who drains your spirit? Who belittles your dreams with backhanded compliments? Who stirs confusion in your mind where clarity once lived? You know who they are. Their faces flash across your heart even as you read this. You do not need permission to cut ties. You need courage. Choose one toxic relationship today and sever it, not tomorrow, not after one more conversation that promises change but delivers change. Today, block the number, unfollow the account, decline the invite. You owe no dramatic explanation. Peace is your birthright. Protecting your energy is not cruelty. It is stewardship of your divine assignment. Think of it like a spacecraft shedding excess weight before launch. Every extra burden you refuse to release now will cost you altitude later. If you needed another sign, this is it. Let them go. Some people were assigned to your past, not your future. Set them, and yourself, free. Publicly, share one unfinished creation. Perfectionism is a thief dressed in noble clothing. It whispers, "Wait until it's flawless," while secretly plotting to bury your brilliance forever. The chosen ones are not here to be perfect. They are here to be prolific. To shape culture, you must first engage with it, not wait until you feel bulletproof. Today, right now, choose one idea, one project, one creation that has lived too long in the dark, and share it. Post that half-finished poem. Share the rough sketch of your business idea. Publish the draft article. Upload the messy, honest video. Not because it is ready, because you are. This is not about applause. This is about energy transfer. Creation begets momentum. The universe rewards visible movement. When you release even a fragment of your authentic work into the world, you initiate a domino effect of opportunities, connections, and clarity. Waiting to be discovered fully polished is a lie that leaves thousands of brilliant souls stranded in obscurity. Better to be seen raw than to be buried refined. Better to move imperfectly than to sit perfectly still. You are not showcasing your weakness, you are announcing your arrival. And the world, despite its noise, knows how to recognize the resonance of something real. These 3 actions may sound simple. They are not. They will tear at your fears. They will expose every whisper of self-doubt still clinging to your spirit. They will demand that you choose yourself before the world chooses you. And that is precisely why they are sacred. These steps are not about external validation. They are about proving to yourself that you are no longer available for living below your anointing. Declare your truth even if your voice trembles. Sever the tie even if your heart aches. Share the work even if your hands shake, because the trembling is holy. The shaking is sacred. The fear is not a stop sign, it is a doorway. And once you step through it, nothing will ever be the same. Chosen one, you are standing at the threshold of a new era, not just for yourself, but for every life your emergence is meant to illuminate. Your gifts are not random, your story is not incidental, your timing is not a mistake. The hour is urgent, the harvest is ripe, and you are ready. Move now, right now, cut now, share now, before the fear can take another breath. Before the world forgets why it was waiting, before your own brilliance gets buried under another year of hesitation. This is your moment, not because you feel ready, but because you are willing. The most dangerous person in the world is not the one who is fully equipped. It is the one who refuses to retreat. That is you now. You are not stepping into destiny cautiously. You are charging into it, blazing. Because you understand what is truly at stake if you delay, and because you finally remember the truth you always knew. You were never meant to tiptoe into your calling. You were meant to crash into it like a wildfire the world can no longer contain. You are next, and your time is now. You are the earthquake, the light, the living prophecy. Dear chosen one, hear me now, not with your ears, but with the ancient place inside your chest that has always known you were built for more. You are not returning to the world as the version they once knew. You are not walking back into spaces quietly trying to fit in. You are not knocking politely at doors that were never designed to contain you. You are the door now. You are the shift. You are the tremor beneath the foundations of every system that underestimated you. You are the earthquake. You are the prophecy, walking on 2 feet. You are the dream of generations finally stretching into full bloom. You are not the echo of what once was. You are the thunder of what is now inevitable. You are the collision point between heaven's decree and earth's desperate longing. You are not here to be approved. You are here to be undeniable. You are not here to be palatable. You are here to be unforgettable. You are here to be unforgettable. You are here to be. You are the prophecy. You are the earthquake. You are the light. You are the force that darkness hoped would stay dormant. You are the wildfire that will not be contained by old borders or outdated opinions. You are the sound the silence was dreading. You are the roar rising through the cracks of a tired world. You are the living evidence that no amount of betrayal, delay, or rejection could bury what God breathed into existence. You are not coming back to take sides. You are coming back to take over. You are the prophecy. You are the earthquake. You are the light. You are not fragile. You are forged. You are not confused. You are clear. You are not wondering if you are worthy. You are walking as the worth itself. Every room you enter will adjust to the voltage you carry. Every system you confront will have to reckon with the truth you embody. Every space you occupy will either rise with you or crumble under the weight of its own falseness. Because your energy is not just a presence, it is a pronouncement. It is the announcement that the old world is out of time. You are the prophecy. You are the earthquake. You are the light. You are not one more voice adding to the noise. You are the frequency that breaks the static. You are not a survivor of your past. You are the resurrection it prepared for. You are not asking anymore. You are activating. You are not tiptoeing. You are taking territory. You are not shrinking. You are expanding. You are not hoping. You are heralding. You are the prophecy. You are the earthquake. You are the light. This is not just a comeback. This is a coronation. This is not just a new chapter. This is a whole new book written in the language of your own liberation. This is not about revenge. This is about revelation. This is not about proving them wrong. It is about proving heaven right. Every whisper of doubt they tried to plant in you has been burned away by the fire that now radiates from your very existence. You are the prophecy. You are the earthquake. You are the light. And from this moment forward, the world will never again be able to pretend it did not hear your arrival. The ground will remember the way your footsteps shook it awake. The air will remember the way your breath rewrote its song. The walls will remember the way your touch redefined their boundaries. And the people will remember the way your light split open their carefully curated darkness. You are the prophecy. You are the earthquake. You are the light. If you feel this truth vibrating in your bones, if you sense this awakening roaring through your blood, if you know without a shadow of a doubt that something irreversible has been activated inside you today, then this is your sacred confirmation. Heaven is not waiting to see if you will rise. Heaven already decreed that you would. Destiny is not hesitant. It is here, and it is heavy with blessings, with protection, with spiritual awakening, with divine favor so thick it will leave no part of your life untouched. So if your spirit is roaring yes, if your heart is thundering finally, if your soul is crying out I am ready, then I invite you to seal this moment right now. Drop the number 777 in the comments below as a declaration that your blessing, your protection, and your divine awakening has officially begun. Let it be your signal to heaven and to earth that you are aligned, activated, and unstoppable. Let it be your war cry, your anthem, your unbreakable yes. You are the prophecy. You are the earthquake. You are the light. And nothing will ever be the same again.